So for those of you that know my work, a kind of a reoccurring theme or message is the invitation to walk back home towards ourselves. And really what that means is to come back into your heart and to connect to the essence of who you are, who you authentically are. And it doesn't matter what the topic is. When I work with clients, it's just constantly, how do you come back to yourself and your true self, not your limiting beliefs, not your patterns, not your traumas and your wounds. Like, yes, we have to move through those things to come and reach the authentic person that we have always been. It's just kind of filtering through everything to return back home, basically walking through the brambles to return back home. I was just reading a post by a friend that was talking about the addiction to social media. And I get the irony that I'm leaving this on social media. It does not pass me. I get the irony, but here we are. But it's not about not being on social media, but it's understanding the addictive nature of it. And I was reflecting on that and thinking, we live in such an externalized world now where everything is about being stimulated and over information, too much noise, too many options, too many choices, too much scrolling, too much swiping. You know, it's this constant bombardment of stimulation and externalization, right? Because it's outside of us and it's a distraction, and it's a complete addiction. You know, for anyone that says, oh no, it's not addicting, like, it's addicting. We are all addicted. You know, how addicted is another thing, right? But it is addictive by nature, so we are addicted. And I know the periods where I just come off of it, it's a relief, and I try to use it very sparingly. Or what this post was saying, it's consciously walk into it, know what you're walking into and what you're wanting to get out of it. But I was thinking, like, wow, what has that done to us? Because in relationship to what I was talking about, is it takes us further away from ourselves. It is walking us away from ourselves. We spend very little time in self-reflection, in meditation, in silence, I'm a kind of person that I really like sometimes just sitting on my bed or on the sofa and staring out the window, and that's it. Like, for me, that's really calming and relaxing. And just to be with my thoughts, to be with myself, you know, see how I'm feeling, and there's no real aim or goal to it. And then there are times where I realize where it's just like that. The times where I've been more addicted, it's like that's the filling of the space, right? And you go to that. And I just thought, God, I'm of the generation where I can remember what it was like before social media. You know, it took me a long time to get onto Instagram. I remember I wasn't even one of the first people to get an iPhone. You know, I still had kind of a dumb phone, which, yeah, now I look back and go, oh, the good old days. No, I mean, there's wonderful aspects of it, right? But anything in extreme and excess is not healthy, right? Anything. So the invitation is just to bring this awareness of, you know, I'm going to be bold to say that I really think the way that we change the world is we come back to ourselves. We come back to our heart. We come back to our authenticity. We come back to our wholeness, understanding our worth, understanding the beautiful beings that we really are. We've been taught to be so ashamed of who we are. You know, we've been taught that humanity is such a terrible thing. And I think that's a false message. I think that we have the capacity to be beautiful. We're just focusing on the wrong thing. And we're inducing the wrong thing. We're inducing not good enough. We're inducing vanity and superficiality and I shouldn't say we, the people that are creating these networks and that are driving that in the media. And I don't think it's a very positive message, narrative. And so I think that the way that we change the world is actually really simple. Simple doesn't mean easy, but it's simple. And that is just simply come back home to yourself. Make space and time for yourself. Like the distraction is an addiction, and the distraction is it robs us of getting to know who we are. And from my personal experience and for doing the work that I've been doing for over a decade, I have felt liberation by coming home to myself. I feel peace by coming home to myself. And I see working with people that when they come back to themselves and they recognize who they are and they accept themselves for who they are and they show up more authentically and they're more in their joy because of that, and their intuition is stronger and their clarity is more precise, and everything kind of falls more into place, right? And there's the suffering of not knowing yourself, the suffering of the seeking, the suffering of the pursuit of happiness, the suffering of this will give me the dopamine hit, this will make me feel more connected. No, it's all in here. It's all in here. And then we can reach out, and then we can truly connect, because that, social media really isn't connection. It's not. In a way, but it's not the deeper connection that we need as human beings. And a lot of it is very inauthentic, in my opinion. Of course, there are some authentic things. I hope that what I'm putting out there is authentic. So I don't want to generalize. But we need, I think we can go deeper. But that requires that we put shit down every now and again, and not have the phone there with the notifications going all the time. And I read a beautiful article once about how notification, it was all of these, what this deprives us of. And it was this beautiful list, but the one that I remember was that notifications deprive us of our relationships because they intervene, they interrupt. It's this constant thing, and for that moment, that person's presence is taken away. It's terribly annoying. And I come from the generation, I think, that we're yeah, that's just rude. The younger generation is no, that's normal. No. We deserve to spend time for ourselves, to spend time on ourselves. When I work with clients, I'm nothing is wrong with you. You're not broken. You don't need any fixing. It's just something in you that needs your loving attention. We're losing that ability because everything is focused on the external. And the seeking for that feeling that's going to fill the void. We're also, again, I'm generalizing, but the movement of this kind of culture is moving in that direction, that the external is going to create that very fleeting moment of dopamine, that dopamine hit, but what we're really looking for is peace. Peace comes when we're at home within ourselves. So it's an invitation. This is way too long. I'm so sorry. And I can't really talk today because I'm very tired, but I'm loving you all from afar. Food for thought. Take it or leave it as feels right for you. Just sharing my 2 pence. Bye.